Welcome back to the Couch Brotato Podcast. In this episode, we're rolling out the red carpet for one of Hollywood's coolest leading men, Brad Pitt. From gritty crime thrillers to epic war dramas and offbeat cult classics, we're counting down and inducting 10 of his greatest films into the prestigious Couch Brotato Hall of Fame. So grab a bag of chips, kick back, and join us as we honor the filmography of the man, the myth, the legend right now on the Couch Brotato Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Couch Brotato Podcast, the podcast that's not sweeping the country, but we are a podcast nonetheless, where we talk about movies. Joined, as always, by my co-host and partner in crime, Mr. Adam Lincourt. How are we doing this evening, good sir?
I am doing great. How about yourself?
Not bad. I was beginning to think that we may have had a cursed episode on our hands. We tried to record this bad boy last night, but couldn't get into my computer, and I'm pretty sure that my 14-year-old son, who was a guest on last week's episode, was trying to use my computer for gaming purposes, but he locked out my laptop, and by the time I got it back up, it was well past the time that we could record. So here we are doing it tonight.
Yeah. Better late than never.
Right. Today we are doing a Hall of Fame episode, and got the idea after seeing the Brad Pitt movie F1, which was a fantastic movie, by the way. It was really what summer blockbusters should be. Just a fun 2 hours at the movies. You haven't had a chance to see it yet, have you?
I have not gotten a chance to see it, but I really do want to see it.
I would have recommended checking it out on the IMAX. That was kind of gives you an immersive feeling when they're racing, but unfortunately, it's since lost its IMAX screens to the new Jurassic World, and with Superman getting ready to come out, Superman's going to take him from Jurassic World. So yeah, I don't think you can go see it in IMAX, but you still go see it. I'd highly recommend checking it out.
Yes, definitely.
But I thought it would be a great opportunity to induct Brad Pitt into the Couch Brotato Hall of Fame. And we're going to choose 10 movies we deem to be his most worthy films to be inducted into the said prestigious Couch Brotato Podcast Hall of Fame.
Prestigious.
It's very prestigious. I would mark that up there with getting like a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's more prestigious than winning an Academy Award.
Yeah, I mean, recently, for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least we get it right.
Yeah.
I can't say the same thing about the Motion Picture Academy. I can't see them getting it right, but here at the Couch Brotato Podcast, we do get it right.
I think our opinion matters more than the Academy.
Indeed, it does. Indeed, it does. So how do you want to do this? Do you want to just like rattle off our list and kind of give a reason why?
Yeah. I think we can go just rattle off the list. I think really informal kind of talk about each movie, why it should be on there. I got a list of a couple that aren't the same, so I think that we can talk about a little bit, and I think it'll be good.
All right,
good discussion.
Well, I tell you what we'll do. We'll circle back around and see if we can come up with an honorable mention. And actually, as we're getting ready to do this, I actually changed one of mine.
Oh, okay.
Just for the purposes of a little, so we could talk about this. Because if we just did our list, it would be like a 5-minute episode. Because you and I talked about this earlier in the week. We pretty much had the same thing, so we had to switch it up a little bit.
Right.
But I will lead off here. I picked for my first nominee, Thelma and Louise.
Yeah.
This is the movie that kind of put Brad Pitt on the map. He's got a smaller role, but it's been a hot minute since I've seen Thelma and Louise, but he's the one that was Gina Davis messes around with in the hotel.
Yeah.
Very briefly, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I went with that simply because it's the movie that put him on the map.
Yeah.
And then, like, of course, he goes on to become like a big star, like about a year later. So
Yeah, this is why I had it on my list as well. Is he kind of I wouldn't say he was an unknown, but like it did put him on the map. And as brief as his role was, I think like everybody and I can't speak for every woman out there, but all the women in my family like love early Brad Pitt. So I think there is a reason why, so
who doesn't? Yeah, like a year later, I think A River Runs Through It, I think is in, or is that Legends of the Fall is 90? I think A River Runs Through It's 92, then he follows that up with Legends of the Fall, then We're Off then. He's pretty much becoming like on his way to being an A-list star.
Mm.
So, yeah, for that reason, I put Thelma and Louise as number one. Number two is Seven.
Yeah.
Personally, outside of maybe two of the other movies on my list, my favorite Brad Pitt performance, I will say that I was, as a youngster in 95, I tried to emulate his hairstyle like it was my job in 95, so I thought he had the coolest hair. But Seven's just an awesome movie. To this day, a movie that still, when I watch it, it sticks with me for a day or two afterward just because of how fucked up it is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think his realization scene too is just like one of those meme-worthy scenes nowadays. Like it's just so poignant.
And I mean, he does a very commendable job going up against Morgan Freeman, who's on an absolute heater at this point. I mean, he's like right in the midst of Shawshank, Seven, and then I know I'm probably missing something after that, but yeah, I mean, yeah, Morgan Freeman is like at his peak right now at this time, and Brad Pitt more holds his own against him.
Yeah, I think that this is, again, it's not like super early in Brad Pitt's career because he did some TV and stuff, but I feel like it's one of those movies that keeps his train rolling in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. Next one I got's 12 Monkeys. We hadn't really seen this side of Brad Pitt in anything previously to this movie. He's he looks dirty, he's crazy, and he does a very like I believe in that he's crazy. Plus, like, he kind of tones down like the good looks portion of. He's got a lazy eye in this movie. He just looks like he hasn't slept in days. And I mean, 12 Monkeys is, I'm not a huge Terry Gilliam fan, but I absolutely adore 12 Monkeys.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Very good movie. And once again, he's he's going toe to toe and actually outdoing Bruce Willis in this. If I'm not mistaken, I think he got an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor for this too. I think this was his first one.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I have a list of nominations that he had, and I don't know if yeah, he got nominated for Best Actor and some of his movies here. I don't have any listed for 12 Monkeys, but I'm sure you're right on that one.
Yeah, I swear that he was nominated.
Yeah,
for Best Supporting Actor.
Mm-hmm.
In that one. Yeah, he has actually had 4 Oscar nominations.
Yeah.
So, next one.
Very deserving.
Yeah. Next one, I shouldn't really have to explain. It's pretty much for my age demographic. It's like kind of the movie that we kind of gravitated towards, and I don't think a lot of people at the time really got what it was. Fight Club.
Yeah. Fight Club, yeah.
I think a lot of, for lack of a better term, not bright, like teenage guys just were expecting this to be like a movie where dudes just beat the shit out of each other, but that's not really what Fight Club is about.
Right.
I don't know, should we induct him in for Fight Club, considering he's pretty much like, he's not really, it's Edward Norton?
I mean,
I was trying to make, that was a bad joke, so.
I was gonna say, like, I think nobody remembers Edward from that movie, really, if you're thinking about it. Like, the last time I saw Fight Club was probably 3 years ago, and I still remember Brad Pitt better.
Oh yeah, Brad Pitt is easily like the star of that one, but I haven't seen Fight
Yeah.
Club in a long time. I actually thought of doing that because I think that's coming up on its I think it's his 25th anniversary in October.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll go in depth and talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Something for the 7 people that listen to our show, something for you to look forward to in October. We might do Fight Club.
I think Fight Club would be a great one. Yeah.
Next one's Ocean's 11. It's no secret, as we've talked about in the Ocean's 11 episode that we've done here on the program, which you can listen to on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. First cheap plug of the episode. Or the Heist Movie Hall of Fame episode that you can also listen to on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Second cheap plug of the podcast. It's no secret, though, Ocean's 11 is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I mean, depending on what kind of mood I'm in, I think there's 2 camps. You're either a Danny Ocean guy or you're a Rusty Ryan guy, and it really depends on like what mood I'm in, who I prefer, whose story arc I prefer more. But that movie is just the epitome of cool. Like, everybody in that movie is just like the coolest of the cool.
Yeah,
and
agreed.
That's Brad Pitt just being like, okay, like I don't need to do any heavy lifting. I'm just going to play Brad Pitt in this.
Yeah, and he honestly, like, the best acting that he ever does in any of those movies is just like eat all the time. Like, he makes eating a sandwich like look cool. Like, I need to go get a sandwich.
Yeah. Yeah, he's Brad Pitt for the 2 hours or so that Ocean's 11 runs. But yeah, I just think he's just such a cool performance. Doesn't have to do any heavy lifting. But yeah. Definitely that one deserves it. Next one I got Mr. and Mrs. Smith. This was a fairly big hit when it came out at the time, but I think my nomination of this is kind of for the wrong reasons. This kind of made him like, it kind of put him on that level of like Tom Cruise, Will Smith, Leo, those type of people where like the tabloids were also interested in his personal life. It's because he was married to Jennifer Aniston, and then there was the infamous on-set romance with his now ex-wife, Angelina Jolie. But it kind of put him on another level in terms of his fame. Yeah.
See, this is the only reason why I would nominate this film too, because if I remember correctly, I didn't enjoy Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Oh, yeah, see, like, I like it. I think I was more fond of it when I first seen it. I haven't seen it in a long time, so I don't know how it translates, but I know when I see it on TV now, I tend to just kind of like, I'm not going to watch this right now. Unless it's like right before one of the action sequences. But if it's like the domesticated stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it's with it being a big box office hit. And he is like, I guess if you were to write up like maybe a paragraph synopsis on his career, this one would definitely be on that list.
Yeah, this is definitely not a what's our favorite movie. It's a what would make his career, and I think that even if it's not like, you know, the stellar movie that we remember it to be, or it wasn't stellar at all when we saw it, it's still kind of propelled his career forward, like you said, with all of the tabloid stuff going on at the time.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, I think a Hall of Fame, it's not always like your best. I think it's just what people would remember you for the most.
Right, exactly.
Or like a career highlight, whether it's good or bad. Right. Speaking of career highlights, next movie I have on my list is Inglourious Bastards. His first time working with Quentin Tarantino. I don't know. This movie is a very close number 2 for me in terms of like my favorite Tarantino movies. And normally he would be probably like the character that you remember the most from that movie. if it weren't for Christoph Waltz's performance in it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely more memorable. Yeah. I feel like sometimes though, those types of roles are more memorable. So.
Yeah. Well, and plus it kind of keys in a little bit on, he's channeling a little bit of his character from 12 Monkeys. He's not quite unhinged, but he's a little, Aldo Rain's a little crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, just for like the mission itself, and then like what they do to, I mean, deservingly so, to Nazis. Not the Nazis, like that. Probably one of my favorite things is just seeing them just get fucking destroyed by the bastards. But, yeah, I think it kind of shows his range a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's a great performance from him. And like you said, like most people would consider Inglourious Basterds a top 3 Tarantino film. Not everybody, but most people that I know. And I think that you would write that in his 2-paragraph career highlights.
Yeah. And just to like go off of what you're saying about like, it shows his range. Like that's how I gauge actors' ability to act. I know that we've talked about it before on this podcast where like certain actors play the same character in every movie that they're in. They just play a different version of themselves. Brad Pitt's good at playing different characters. And I think that speaks to how good of an actor he is.
Right. And speaking of performances, the next one I have on my list is Moneyball. I think in terms of Brad Pitt performances, I think this is my personal favorite.
Yeah.
Because he's actually doing a lot of heavy lifting. He plays Oakland A's general manager Billy Beane. For those of you not familiar, he was the one that brought the Bill James style of sabermetrics and judging players into Major League Baseball. But I just think he's fantastic in this. And I always felt that Tom Cruise's best performance is Jerry Maguire. Like out of all the movies he's done, I think he's never been any better than he was in Jerry Maguire. He never got an Oscar for that. He should have, but he didn't. And I think down the road, this will be the same with Brad Pitt. He was nominated for an Academy Award for this, but he didn't win.
Yeah.
I don't know who won that. I don't know who won that year. I'm
not sure.
I'm going to take a look here. The 84th Annual Academy Awards. Oh, Jean Dujardin. He won for The Artist, that silent movie that no one will remember in 15 years.
Yeah, definitely should have been Brad Pitt in Moneyball.
Yeah, I'm just going to take a look here, see who he was up against. It's Jean Dujardin for The Artist, Damien Bashir for A Better Life, George Clooney in The Descendants, Gary Oldman and Tinker Tailor, Soldier Spy, and then Brad Pitt. Yeah, I would definitely give that to Brad Pitt.
I would, yeah.
And that just lends more weight to my argument that I think that they should be able to, like 5 years ago or 5 years after the fact, reevaluate these movies and just take the Oscars away from them and give them to the rightful.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, you shouldn't have gotten. Let me take that back.
I did originally have one of his later movies in this spot, but this is the one that I changed. I went with Snatch.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because I was like looking at that list and I'm like, why don't I have this movie on here? An awesome movie. To me, it's still my favorite Guy Ritchie movie. Incredibly rewatchable, and Brad Pitt is like just this completely, I don't know, just off the wall, zany, like pikey character that you can't really understand what he says. But he's not. It's like a supporting role. He's not in the movie. I think he's only in the movie like maybe screen time. Maybe is 10 minutes.
Yeah,
because he's only got like 2 or 3 scenes in the movie. But you don't forget.
Yeah,
the scenes that he's in.
Yeah, I mean, he's still billed as one of the top cast.
Well, because it's Brad Pitt. I mean, but yeah, let's be real. He's definitely not the lead. Like, I wouldn't even say he's like the 3rd or 4th lead in that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a great fun performance from him. He's channeling something completely different. And I know I've seen some people don't really like this comparison for Brad Pitt, but I've always said that Brad Pitt is kind of a Harry Dean Stanton character actor type with Paul Newman good looks.
Okay. Yeah, no, I could, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if he weren't as good looking as he is, he could easily be like one of those guys that you can cast for like the fifth role in like, you know, a Tarantino movie, you know, and you always get a solid performance out of him. But the fact that he is as striking of a man as he is, he's always going to be, you know, first or second on the marquee.
Yeah.
But then there's nothing wrong with that. I actually respect actors that can, you know, channel different characters versus, like you said earlier, playing the same like just a different variation of the same character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that's what's great about his filmography is he's done all these different types of characters and he's been able to pull them off so well.
Yeah. It's not the same guy. Like, I think I brought this up before when I talked about it last, but like, I love him to death, but Samuel L. Jackson plays the same guy in every movie. Mm-hmm. It's a different version of that guy, but it's the same guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Brad Pitt.
A lot of like Tom Cruise is like that too. Tom Cruise is essentially like plays just a variation of Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've said it before. I'll say it again. I prefer Heath Ledger's Joker over Jack Nicholson's because Jack Nicholson's playing the Joker as if Jack Nicholson was the Joker. You know what I mean?
That just proves that Jack Nicholson is the Joker.
Fair point. Last one I got on my list is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Man, that for me, my Tarantino 3 are Pulp, Bastards, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And him and Leo are just, I don't know, man. Like that's got to be like probably the best duo of the last 10 years or so. Both those guys are fantastic playing off of one another. And he deservedly won an Academy Award for that role.
Yeah, no, I agree. Fantastic movie. I actually bumped this one because I have only seen it once and I don't remember half of it, to be honest.
Oh, well, if you want a refresher, we did cover this on the show. So yeah, you can go back on the archives and check out the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood episode of the Couch Brotato Podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. That's 3 now. Me and Jen, she stepped in for Lucas, and her and I did that movie.
Yeah.
I've only seen it like in its entirety, like maybe 2 or 3 times, but I've caught so many different little pieces of it.
Yeah, that's one that I actually do need to revisit. I admit. So
yeah,
but I do remember liking his performance, and I do remember loving the movie. So
yeah, and he won an Oscar. So I think for that reason, even if you haven't seen it, it has to be on the list.
Agreed. All
right, so that's mine. What do you got?
So I only have a few different ones, and like I said, I kind of scoured for different ones because we did come up with almost the exact same list.
Okay, well, what's the ones that, before we go, what are the ones that you have that I had?
Okay. That you had?
Yeah.
So literally everything except for Snatch and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, okay. All right. So, what are the other ones that you have?
I'm gonna throw some movies out there. I'm gonna throw some spaghetti at the wall. Let's see what sticks. First one, Burn After Reading.
Okay.
And the reason why I put this one up is because it's such a different role for Brad Pitt. Oh, and I mean we've talked about how good he is at playing these character roles.
Oh, he's a dullard in this one, that one, but man, he's awesome in that. I'm not a huge fan of that movie, but his performance really stands out. That and then that contraption that George Clooney builds in his basement.
Love that thing. Like that movie is so surreal. It's one of the Coen brothers weirder movies, but
It
I
really
think this one
channels
was,
Raising Arizona.
yeah. Yeah. But I feel like, and spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen the movie, turn this off and go watch it and come back. It really bums me out, and I don't really want to watch the rest of the movie after Brad Pitt dies.
Yeah. Well, that movie
Just
came out
like,
in what?
oh.
That came out like 2015, didn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh,
yeah.
well, then, yeah, it's 10 years. I mean,
Yeah, they've had time.
yeah.
But that's definitely one of the contenders. So I'm just gonna go off a few of the other ones that I had here. We can decide what to bump, and maybe it's most of mine, but you know. The next one I had is Fury.
Okay.
I mean, not as well known as Inglourious Bastards when it comes to Brad Pitt, but dang, is it a good movie. I remember watching that for the first time. It's like, man, I really want to watch that again. I want to watch a whole slew of these World War II movies now. Just the combat in that movie, like coming out of the woods and just like, oh man.
Well, don't spoil it for me, because I don't think, now that I think about it, I think Fury is one of those movies I've been meaning to get around to watching, and I've never seen it yet.
Let's give it an honorable mention then, because I feel like if I explain any more of why it should be, then it'll ruin it.
Okay.
But it is a very good movie, and I highly recommend. The next one I wasn't sure about putting on there, and it was suggested to me by someone else. But I kind of understand why, just because of its attempt to be epic. I didn't really enjoy it, but this person suggested Troy be on the list. I mean, it's not one of my favorites, but I understand that it's gotten a cult following as of late, and I don't know why.
Really? Troy's become a cult movie now?
Yeah. I don't remember the box office, but I remember it being a dud.
I think it was a not like a huge hit, but I think it made $100 million when it was in domestically. Yeah.
Yeah. That being said, I told them that I'd put it on there, just as a, maybe it'll get on there. I doubt it will, but the next one I had was World War Z. We both had this one at one point.
Yeah, I had that one. That was one that I bumped.
Yeah. World War Z is honestly one of the better modern zombie movies, in my opinion. Not saying it's the best one. Maybe that's another top 10 Hall of Famer later on, but I do remember really, really enjoying this movie. Brad Pitt actually makes this movie. I feel like him and Orlando Bloom could have a contest of how many times they could stare off into the distance with like wise eyes. Brad Pitt in this movie and Legolas and Lord of the Rings, but just need a super cut of that. But
I'll give it time. I'm sure it probably.
I do remember very much disliking how like the zombies stacked on top of each other to try and get over the wall, but still thought it was a really cool movie. Had really cool action sequences, and then Brad Pitt kind of gave it that feeling of humanity that you need. So,
well, that was the one movie that I was surprised by how like much I enjoyed it, simply because that movie was troubled, like had all kinds of issues in production. Like they had to do a bunch of massive reshoots, and I think they had to scrap like a third of the movie and redo it again. And then when you read stuff like that, it's already like a recipe, like this is not going to be any good at all. Yeah. But the fact that was a fairly successful, like a summer movie, and it was, I mean, in terms of the zombie genre, this is like, that's like right as The Walking Dead super popular. I mean, I wouldn't call it like a peak zombie movie, but it's an entertaining way to spend a couple hours. I mean, I don't hate watching it. I just watched a couple.
No, great.
Actually, I watched it right before we went and seen F1.
Oh, okay. That's a good movie to watch right before F1 for sure.
And I should have probably prefaced, like, since you hadn't seen F1 yet, we can't put that on the list. Well, I tell you what, since you and I have arguably the same, we pretty much have everything but 2 movies. I'm going to go down his filmography real quick, just to rattle off some of the other, like, fairly big movies he's done that maybe we could.
Okay. I have one more.
Okay.
One more. And it's simply because he does a great job voice acting, and we don't have an animated feature on here. Megamind.
Oh, yeah, he did a couple of animated movies. He was in Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one. I thought he was in the Prince of Egypt movie, too.
Oh, was he in Prince of Egypt?
No, he wasn't. I thought he was.
Oh, okay.
But
he was in If, that imaginary friend movie. That's kind of animated. That's like half and half.
Yeah, he was also, he has a brief Blink and You'll Miss Him cameo in Deadpool 2.
Oh, really? I don't remember that one.
He is, oh shit, he plays the Vanisher, the invisible guy.
Oh, yeah.
And when he gets caught up in the electrical line and gets electrocuted, you see Brad Pitt's face for a brief second.
Okay. I remember vaguely the interview scene, and he just wasn't there.
Yeah. Just going down his IMDb, we had A River Runs Through It. Mm-hmm. I think I've only seen that one time, so I can't really warrant giving it consideration for that reason. He made a movie. Now, I would never say this is a Hall of Fame caliber performance, but he did a movie called California, and him and Juliette Lewis are like this, it's kind of like a Natural Born Killers type of movie, and I think it was, I want to say it predates Natural Born Killers by a few months, but no, it's a couple of years. Or no, a year, because Natural Born Killers is 94. But since Natural Born Killers was Oliver Stone, had all this controversy leading in, it's always kind of like overshadowed California. But it's a similar premise about these 2 lovers that are killing people. It has David Duchovny's in it too. Really good movie though. Highly recommend checking it out. They hitchhike with Duchovny and his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, being serial killers, you can imagine what's next. He has a very brief cameo in True Romance as the guy on the couch.
Yeah.
I mean,
I remember that. Yeah.
I think if you were to think of his most memorable roles, I know a lot of people mention that, even though he's only in the movie, maybe, I think his screen time in that's like 2 minutes.
I wouldn't count it, but yeah, no, I remember it.
That's a movie we need to do at some point too. True Romance is an awesome movie.
Yeah.
Interview with the Vampire. That was a big hit. I am not a fan of that movie.
No, I'm not either.
I remember I went and seen that in movie theaters. So Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Antonio Banderas signed me up. And I remember I was with my buddy and we did a double date, and I told the girl I was with at the time, I was like, this movie's fucking boring.
Yeah.
But still had to sit through it. Legends of the Fall, that's kind of like his big sprawling early epic. I would consider that one either. I know you'd mentioned Meet Joe Black.
Yeah.
That movie, that movie's a train wreck. But it was I think it's a cult classic now. I know a lot of people really like it.
I remember a bunch of my female family members loved that movie because, Brad Pitt, but
yeah. The Assassination of Jesse James. he's really, really, really good in that one, but I don't think when you terms of like, it's like if you're looking at a baseball player, the back of his baseball card, if you see like one year he hits 300 with like 40 home runs, 120 RBIs, and then the next year he's like batting like maybe 288. He's got like 23 home runs, 88 RBIs, but you also notice that like his walk rate has tripled.
Mm-hmm.
Most like fair weather fans are going to look at the 40 home run season and think that that was like his best year, but like he was just as good the following year. He wasn't getting pitched to as much.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I liken the Jesse James role as, is like fantastic, but it kind of gets overshadowed because he's done so much stuff.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Benjamin Button.
I mean,
that movie's okay, but in terms of what Fincher did, it's not like I love David Fincher. He's one of my favorite directors, and I think working like right now, I think he is just under Spielberg, Scorsese. I maybe ranking 4th or 5th as like directors. Like he comes out with something, I'm gonna go watch it.
Yeah,
but it's not one of the ones I would revisit.
No, I mean, I get the honestly, there's a cultural significance to it because it's like de-aging has become, Benjamin Button. Like, oh, what if we could turn back time and be, Benjamin Button? That's actually like the vernacular now. But other than that, I don't think it holds any candle Brad Pitt's filmography.
Let's see if he's got anything else in here. I know he had that. He's got a supporting role in the Big Short, great movie. But yeah, man, I think that's about it. I mean, I know some people might make a case for Killing Them Softly. I think he's really good in that. It's a great performance, but it kind of flies under the radar too. I don't think a lot of people seen it.
Yeah.
I know friend of the show, Cole King. I posted this on Twitter. He had mentioned that movie, and I'm like, damn, that is a good movie. I haven't seen it in forever, but yeah, Killing Him Softly is really good. I know a lot of people are big on Ad Astra. Haven't seen it?
No. No. That's a terrible movie.
Oh, it is?
No, no, don't even. I mean, okay, maybe I need to revisit it, but I remember not liking that movie.
Yeah. But that's about it. I know he did Bullet Train, which was a modest hit, but kind of forgettable action movie. And then, of course, now he's got F1. So I am going to say that, yeah, we got Thelma and Louise 7, 12 Monkeys, Fight Club, Ocean's 11, Bastards, Moneyball. Those are the ones that are in for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed.
But I can be talked out of Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Okay.
I know you didn't have it on your list, but I think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood has to be on there.
Agreed.
Because I think, honestly, if you're thinking about movies he's probably most known for, it's going to be probably Ocean's, Fight Club, and the Tarantino movies.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
So that leaves us Snatch, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. You had Burn After Reading and Fury.
Yeah. And World War Z.
Yeah, World War Z. And then I had the possibles list. Should we throw Benjamin Button on there just because he was nominated for an Oscar for that movie? And it's like one of those things where, I mean, I know we're not huge fans of it personally, but he was nominated for an Academy Award. He did have to like it's kind of like the actors that do like the makeup.
Yeah.
Even though most of his stuff was CGI generated.
Yeah. It's like half and half.
Right.
Yeah, no, I say let's circle back around to it. I'm still on the fence about it because there could be something better. But I agree, it should be a contender because he was nominated.
Okay. So let me take these off here. So yeah, we got Thelma and Louise 7, 12 Monkeys, Fight Club, Ocean's 11,
Mm-hmm.
Bastards, Moneyball, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I don't know, since we've already got one of them on there, he's the primary focus of Ocean's 12. And I know it's a very divisive movie, but I dig the shit out of Ocean's 12.
So I recently watched the first trilogy. I know Ocean's 8 is a thing now. Recently watched those 3. I feel like I like Ocean's 12 better than I did when it was first out. Just something about it kind of clicked with me the last time I watched it. I was like, okay, why did I not like this movie as much as the others? I used to like 13 better, but after I watched all 3 of them in a row, I'm like, no, 13 is just a rehash of 1. It's not really that great.
Mm-hmm.
So no, 12 was great, and you're right, he is the focus. Do we put 2 Oceans movies on his Hall of Fame though?
Yeah, see, that's the kicker because the better one's already in.
Yeah.
And he does have some more memorable roles outside of the Oceans movies that we.
Right.
So.
I would like to note while we're on the subject of Oceans, just to, fanboy over his performance in Oceans, the scene that we always quote, "You think we need one more?" He just lays there on the bar with his head in his arms. Perfect performance.
That's how I am sometimes when Lucas is talking to me and he keeps rehashing the same thing over and over again. It's just like, I've given up. Just do whatever the fuck you want to do. I hope he listens. He doesn't listen to podcasts, but I hope he listens to this just so he gets that fucking reference.
Yeah.
You're right though, man. I can't see putting a second Oceans movie in here as good as Oceans 12 is.
Yeah.
We should do that one at some point too.
I agree. You know what? I know we have our next few movies and Hall of Fames planned out, but I think we should do that one.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll save it. We'll put it out for later in the year. Okay. So we got Burn After Reading, Fury, World War Z, Snatch, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and Benjamin Button are on the outside looking in.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I want to revisit Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I think it makes it out of those.
Is it because of
the tabloids? Because of
he went from being like an A list to an A plus lister?
Yeah, I don't like that I want it in there because it's not one of my favorites, but it isn't a bad movie. It's just not my favorite one.
I mean, like you said it from the onset that this isn't our favorite Brad Pitt roles, because I would definitely have Jesse James in here over Mr. and Mrs. Smith. But I know for a fact that one, as good as it is, probably doesn't have a shot at getting in just because it's such a small. It was kind of a flop when it came out in theaters too, and I still think that it needs to be discovered for a broader audience. Fantastic movie. Definitely check it out. I'm sure it's streaming somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't really argue it. I know I had it on my list initially. But yeah. I think just because of it shot him into another stratosphere for all the wrong reasons.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I mean, it was a big hit. I mean, I know I seen it opening night in a packed theater.
Yeah. I mean, I know that it was a big deal when it came out. I don't remember seeing it in theaters when it came out. I think I did. I do remember watching the rental copy. Do you think Jennifer Aniston likes Mr. and Mrs. Smith as a movie? Do you think she's seen it?
I'm sure she probably has seen it, but I'm sure it's not one of her favorites.
Probably not.
I don't know, like looking back at it, like I wonder if sometimes he regrets like how that whole thing shook out.
I 100% believe that he does.
Because I'll be truthful. I was in the Aniston camp.
Yeah.
How do you cheat on Jennifer Aniston? I mean, granted, it's Angelina Jolie, and at the time she was like the it girl in Hollywood, but man, like if you, it's like you got a craving for a popsicle. You're eating a popsicle. You're like, oh, it's, I've got, a flavor ice. It's the red, which is the best ones. But it's like, I'm going to switch it out for a grape. Second best flavor in there. But it's like, why would you need to throw away the red one for the grape one when the red one's the best? I don't know. It's probably a stupid analogy, but
I did see a table read, which, by the way, since this is Brad Pitt top 10 best podcast, definitely go check this out. There was a table read with Morgan Freeman, Jennifer Aniston, Shia LaBeouf, even Brad Pitt. They did a table read of Fast Times at Ridgemont during COVID. There's a YouTube video. They all did it over Zoom. It's a fantastic video. It's about an hour long, but definitely worth the watch. The interaction between Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston at the beginning was pretty good too. they seem happy.
Is Brad Pitt Spicoli?
No, Shia LaBeouf is Spicoli, and he turns it up to 12, like past 11.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Should we put that in the Hall of Fame consideration instead? Fast Times at Ridgemont. Honestly, high table read?
For sure. It at least gets an honorable mention.
Now, if you want to go a little bit deeper in the woods, if you want to count him as a producer, he did produce 2 Best Picture winners.
Yeah.
12 Years a Slave and The Departed.
Yeah.
But he's not in them, so.
Right. And this is solely him being an actor.
All right. So Mr. and Mrs. Smith gets in.
Agreed.
As good as some of the other ones are, it's basically which Zany or Brad, to me, it comes down to which Zany or Brad Pitt performance do you prefer, Burn After Reading or Snatch? Because, I mean, I can't put Fury in there because I've not seen it.
Okay. What about World War Z? Are we considering World War Z?
World War Z, I think it's good, but, I mean, if you were to ask somebody, like, hey, do you want to watch a Brad Pitt movie? I don't think World War Z is going to be one of the first ones that comes to mind.
Okay. I can agree with that. I think we can put World War Z on the chopping block.
And plus, honestly, out of the ones that are left, I prefer his performance in Burn After Reading and Snatch much better.
Yeah.
So I think it comes down to those two.
I think...
and I'm taking off Benjamin Button too, because you and I both really don't like it. So
yeah, I mean,
we don't love it, I should say. So I'm good taking it.
Okay, off. This is my thought process here. You're not a huge fan of Burn After Reading. Neither am I to a point, but I do like how surreal it is. I love the Coen brothers, and Brad Pitt's the best part of that movie. I really like John Malkovich, but Brad Pitt's the best part of that movie. But I think that Snatch is the better movie out of the two. So I think we put Snatch in.
Snatch it's a heist movie. It's a British crime movie.
Yeah.
It's a heartwarming tale of of dogs. And I think, I mean, at least in our friend group, everyone's gonna like. I think every great now and again, I was trying to get my daughter to say it a couple days ago because we're in the process of looking for a new dog because our very faithful Marley passed away a couple months ago, so we're in the process of like looking for a new dog. And I've been trying to get my daughter Evie to say Dags. I haven't gotten her to do it yet, but I told her like, "Hey, let's go look at some Dags." She's like, "It's dogs, Daddy." I'm like, "No, let's go look at some Dags."
Look at some Dags.
But yeah, I think Snatch is the way to go here, though.
Yeah,
It's because the movie itself has so much of what we love in movies.
Mhm.
At least, like I said, crime movie, heist movie, comedy. It's got Jason Statham like in a non like ludicrous action film. Like he's pretty believable as like this low rent boxing promoter.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's just to me it's still it's peak Guy Ritchie. I know he did Lock, Stock, he did the Sherlock Holmes movies, he did the underrated Man from U.N.C.L.E. But yeah, this is peak Guy Ritchie for me.
Yeah, I think the only movie that would because World War Z and Burn After Reading are decent movies, but I think the only movie that would probably make it is Benjamin Button for the accolades alone. But again, I mean, this is our podcast, and Snatch is a better movie.
Well, and we've got 3 of his 4 Oscar nominations in here anyways. We've got Moneyball, right. We've got 12 Monkeys, and we got Hollywood. So we can leave one off. It's not gonna hurt anything.
Right.
All right. So we're in agreement. That's what we got.
Yeah.
All right. So to recap, the Brad Pitt Couch Brotato Podcast Hall of Fame films are Thelma and Louise, 7, 12 Monkeys, Fight Club, Ocean's 11, Inglourious Bastards, Moneyball, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and Snatch. I forgot to write it down. But yeah, that's the 10.
I think that's a great list.
I think so too. I'm confident in that list, and I think everyone involved in those films should be very proud of what they just were awarded.
Yeah, especially Brad Pitt.
Maybe one of these days, like if I get super bored, maybe I'll just like find out what these actors' production companies are, and just send them like a spray painted gold potato. Like, hey, you just made the Couch Brotato Podcast Hall of Fame.
I just pictured like a potato on like a pedestal that's spray painted, and like it's some of the paint's falling off because some of the eyes started growing roots.
Yep. That's exactly what it would be, man. And I wouldn't even go so far. Like when you say pedestal, I would put like 2 pieces of wood on a block.
just nail it with a single nail.
I wouldn't even do that. I would depend on the potato itself to hold it together. What's this cheap piece of shit? All right. Well, we hope you guys and gals enjoyed this episode. I put it out on the social media sites earlier this week, but if you don't follow us, and why don't you? You can find us on X, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. Just click on the links in the show description below. But we are going to do the 1978 Superman.
Yes.
We're going to cover that. Probably drop that one on Monday. Unless something fucking happens, like my computer takes a dump again, or I don't know, some weird fucking catastrophe, like a house gets haunted by a ghost, or a fucking deer runs through my living room window. But we hope to get that one out on Monday. So yeah, please go check it out. Go watch it. Is it streaming anywhere? I didn't look and see
it
yet.
It is streaming on HBO Max.
Okay, yeah, you go watch Superman on HBO Max, and Adam and I will give you guys and gals our spoiler-free thoughts on James Gunn's 2025 Superman, which is coming out. We're recording this on a Wednesday. It hits theaters tomorrow.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so we will give you our thoughts on that, and we will talk a little 1978 Superman. So be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on that one. So until next week, we'll talk to you guys and gals later.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.